Roll call, sir.
Commissioner Cave.
Here.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Here.
Commissioner Buckley.
Here.
As you wish. As you wish. Please stand for the pledge and the invocation. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the consent agenda is now on
Would you like to start?
I would, I forgot, thank you.
I'll throw
Please,
it out then.
please.
Dear Lord, we thank you for all the blessings that you bestow on us. We ask your blessing upon the new administration that was sworn in yesterday in Washington, D.C. Give them wisdom and guidance, and hopefully bring the country together in the next few years. We ask for wisdom and guidance in the decisions that we make today for the benefit of your citizens in this county. All these things we ask in your Son's name, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Got a new president, and I'm already messing up. Okay. Now the consent agenda is on the board. It's been published. Motion?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now, bid opening for cameras. How many bids do you have?
I think two.
2 bids.
And we think both of them are involving this, but since on the outside they don't look like a
Oh.
star. you know,
Okay,
some of them,
so
that's it.
we may have 2 bids.
Yeah. Robert's alarm system,
That would be.
so that would be definitely.
Nick, is this a budgeted thing?
Yes.
And for our 25 budget? Okay.
Freedom Security is the other.
Okay, so we do have 2 bids. These will be taken into
Anyone here from
consideration.
either one of these companies that wants to take pictures of these? No. Okay.
What was that vendor's name?
This was Freedom and Roberts are the 2 bidders. It looks like it's in the neighborhood of between $4,500 and $5,000. Both of them are in that neighborhood.
How many cameras is that? 8? 8? Okay.
And a couple others, some cable, Stender, other things that I'm sure you detailed
Okay.
on the bid.
This will not be acted upon today. It'll be taken into consideration. Maybe next week we'll act on it. Okay, thank you. That's your public opening of those bids. Award Fiber Services bid. Nick, you want to talk about this?
Sure.
And tell us what it does.
So the fiber is going to be our internet service for all of our public, or all of our buildings. Just like if anybody else's house, everybody has to, our fiber's a little bit more high speed. And since it's a business, it's a little bit more expensive, but we get a little more security with it. So,
There's no new wiring or anything like that. It's
Nope.
just
No, it's-
existing system,
yep,
just new service.
yep, it's just every 5 years we rebid it out.
Okay,
And this, the one with, I'm proposing we accept is another 5-year bid through Spectrum Charter.
is this the same one we've had?
Yes.
Okay. Is it any faster?
The exact same thing we got now.
Okay.
So the annex and courthouse will be $775 a month.
$775.
Yep.
Okay.
The jail will be $775. Road and bridge will be $560. And, I'm sorry, I said road and bridge is gonna be $560 as well as Woodlawn, or Weber, I'll get it right eventually. So currently we're paying $2,820 a month. Under the new contract, it will go down to $2,670. Now,
Slight reduction.
Yep, so it came down here and at the jail, but at Weber Road and Road and Bridge, it actually went up.
Okay. But it's
But overall, it's,
net cost slight reduction.
Yes.
Okay. So do you recommend we accept this bid?
yes, and I would suggest we do the 5-year bid. We can get shorter terms, but the price goes up.
Okay. Well, we've had good service with them, so good record there. Okay, motion?
So I make a motion, we accept the fiber services bid from Spectrum for a total for all 4 buildings for $2,670 for a 5-year contract.
Second?
I'll second.
Questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Okay, request to bid, it's that annual bid time again. So there's the list. I have a question. Clay, does Road and Bridge Supplies include your rock?
On annual bids, yes. Rock,
Okay, I
yes.
didn't see that listed, and I thought rock would have its own list.
Aggregate, and yeah, it should be on there. Now, we do bid it out to all,
Mhm.
just St. Francis County has many quarries
Sure,
that we purchase from.
And we're
Normally-
blessed.
Huh?
and we're blessed by that.
We are. Normally, we award all bids to the quarries just because for our practicality and convenience, we purchase from the closest quarry to our job site.
If you're in the north part of the county, you don't wanna drive all the way to the south to get a load of
No,
rock.
and the prices are very comparable.
Mhm.
There's not much variance in their prices. Well, depending on I mean, of course, granite's more expensive than limestone, but, normally we do bid it out, and they do have to submit a bid to hold them to that price for the year. But typically, we utilize it.
Are there any cases we have to use granite?
Well, we use granite for our ice control, just
Okay.
because limestone turns to dust and to powder, and it balls and clumps together and freezes together. As to where the granite is a little cleaner.
And it's darker color and you get solar gain.
That too.
Right,
And public perception, they see it on the road.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
very good.
As opposed to the white limestone.
Okay.
So yeah, our ice control is all granite. It's screenings, they call it ice control sand, but it's a lot of the screenings.
Yeah, it's the little
And it's
stuff.
cheap.
Cheap. Because it's the little stuff, yeah.
Well, it's almost waste. It's not waste, but we'll use it.
Okay.
I've got a question on this. Jason brought up something last week. Jason Harris is actually the
Highway administrator.
highway administrator. Jason, just come up and tell him on the tanker compared to the weekly. And tell him your idea on this, and we're looking into this, and I was gonna get with the sheriff. Maybe he had a really good idea, and tell
So
him.
basically, what I'm looking at is our fuel tank out the shed is only 1,000 gallons. And
You're
I'm
talking
kinda
about gasoline and diesel?
Diesel's 1,000, gasoline's 500.
Okay.
So I'm kind of looking at are we charged delivery fee for that 1,000 gallons versus if we had a 10,000 gallon tank, we could get a tanker and only get delivery like every 8 weeks versus a delivery weekly. And then the same way with the gas. Then I know we talked about, or it's been talked about, putting a satellite office for the sheriff's office and the collector at the north barn. So we would also include a smaller tank there, and look at some controls on how you get the fuel input, material, stuff
Okay.
like that.
Just had a question. Let's say that we converted our 1,000 gallon tank out there to gas and then added a 10,000 gallon.
Yeah, we could possibly do that.
Do something
yeah.
like that, because
Now,
the
I know-
gas use is less, I believe.
Right, yeah, because that's mostly sheriff, and we got a few gas burners, but most of ours is diesel. And then the sheriff does have a couple of vehicles that are diesel. Now with that bigger tank, we'll have to build, a dike, it'll have to be contained.
Yeah.
And you build that size as your largest tank, so our diesel fuel tank, say it's 8,000 gallons, it'd have to hold 8,000 gallons.
Yeah, you do this in case you get a leak, the leak is contained.
Right,
So it'll hold everything that's in the tank,
right.
if assuming it's full.
Your largest tank.
Yes.
Designed to your largest
Yes.
tank. And then, of course, they'll have a water oil
Would both
separator.
tanks be inside that same?
Yeah, if you're gonna do that, you might as well confine all of
Okay.
them, but you only design it for your largest tank.
I hadn't thought of that,
Yeah,
okay.
and then there'll be a water oil separator, obviously, because of rain collection and stuff like that.
Yeah, out at the jail, don't we only have one tank?
Yeah,
And
it's
it's what, 1,000 gallons? I think.
I don't know.
I mean, we're just looking into this. That's why I said, he had a good idea, because, I'm sure weekly,
Ours is.
that charge for them to bring gas is probably pretty good amount.
What's the capacity of the tanker truck that delivers?
8,000 gallons.
Yeah.
Okay, so 10,000, he's not gonna fill it, but
Right.
well, it's gonna have some,
You want some.
it'll be some in it, okay.
Because you might have carryover or whatever.
Now, and he can top that off as opposed to propane.
Right.
Propane, you can only go to 80%, okay.
I mean, we're just looking into that, but
That's a great idea. Thank you.
we haven't really got the details down, but I was gonna check out the jail
So
out
what
there
would
in
the
Clay.
What would the cost of the tank be versus the savings?
Well, that's what I'll have to look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's
Usually-
probably a period of time, Louis.
Well, we'll have to do the construction too for the, that'd be a cost on it.
And also, you're not getting these, delivery charge once every.
Was realized during a winter storm, we may get 3, 4, 5
Yeah.
deliveries a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and weather, you know, if we get down to weather and we can't get a delivery,
Right.
this is a buffer for us. You know, and when you're looking at the return on investment, you know, it might not be 6 months, it might be 2 years, but it's gonna save money.
You think the county will still be here in 2 years?
I hope so.
I suppose some of those routes. Nick?
One thing I would look at whenever you're designing is if you can put a roof with some power, and we can put cameras on it facing back towards the back of the gate area.
Okay, Nick, I missed that. Start again, please.
Okay, so whenever we're getting into the designing phase of this, we need to put a roof over it as well, so we can put power and a camera pointing back towards that back fence line that we're having problems with. We'll be able to see it under the new camera system, but it's gonna be a lot better, clearer view if we can get closer. to
Okay.
it.
Yeah, my thoughts
Just a
were-
second, Rick. Now, will this roof extend over to where the trucks will be?
That's up to them. We just need to
Okay,
place
because
it
that
there.
determines the size and height of it too. Okay, Rich?
I would appreciate it if this very valuable conversation is held under what we used to call new business, because we've already got a topic on the board you need to take care of.
Good
And
point.
we're sitting here engineering something new.
Good point.
We should probably discuss it under new business and not right this very second.
And we could do that under probably departmental reports. Thank you, Rich. Appreciate that, and we'll do that in the future.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Before
Jason.
we get off this subject though, I know that this is new to the sheriff. If you want to get with Linda and Rhodes, figure out what part of yours fit with theirs, what's not, what's separate. It's contained in that would be easier. Guessing.
Okay, well, let's go back to our agenda. And we have a request to bid for the annual bids. Motion?
I make a motion, we, request the bids for the annual bids for all the departments.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And these will go out when?
They're due by March 11th.
Yeah, but I mean, go out to be mailed.
Well, that's up to them. We
Okay.
don't send, I mean, that's up
each-
to the.
So each
vendors.
department will send this out.
It'll be in the newspaper 3 times and then, but the offices don't send it out. That is up to the bidder
bidder.
to know that,
Okay.
that's on them.
In the past, Road and Bridge sends out to any vendor who has bid before.
Okay.
They bid the year prior, then we send them a
Okay.
a bid notice.
So all departments need to be alert to this.
Yes.
Okay. How do we make sure of that? Can we send out an email on that, Nick?
Already has.
I've
already
already
has,
sent it
okay.
out to them.
Okay, so that's, every department's been alerted then. Okay, thank you. Okay, do I get the final vote?
All in favor?
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay, repress, Mike, you want to talk about this?
Sure.
Today, we're asking for permission to apply for the Recreational Trails Program Grant 2025. We're currently working on the RTP Grant 2024. That's what's helping us along with our Phase 2 trail. This one would be working towards a boat ramp if it's acceptable to them. If not, then we would be using it for parking lot paving, some shade structures, some different things around
Okay.
the park.
Do you have a feeling for the amount?
Yeah, I mean, we would try to utilize the full 250,000. It's the maximum amount from the
Okay.
RTP grant. The as far as matching, if they allow us in the underserved community portion of it, then we would be responsible for 25%. Just the face value of it's a 50% match.
Okay. So we'd be getting up to half of that $250,000.
No.
Well, the match, I'm going by the match.
Yeah, we would be responsible, well, we would be responsible for up to 250.
Right.
Ideally $125.
That's where I was going.
That would, I mean, it could be more depending on, just what we do.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, it's definitely something we'd like to do. The boat ramp is important to us.
I think it's pretty good, and like I said, we have experience with it because we're currently in the 2024 version of it right now, which is funding a good
And what are you doing with that money?
Phase 2 trail.
Okay, very good. All right, motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the request to apply for the RTP grant, that'd be the Recreational Trails Program for Owl Creek,
And up to 250,000.
up to 250,000.
Okay.
I'll second.
Any questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Mike?
Today, we are also requesting to purchase a new mini excavator through the Sourcewell government negotiated contract. There's one sitting at the heavy-duty equipment lot here in town. But with the Sourcewell, we're actually purchasing from Kubota, and they're just the middleman. This will be used for, right now, for the DNR contract clearing that we're doing until March 28th, and then it will be used for various projects around the park for the next 20 years.
If I were going to go up there and buy that unit, it would cost me over $101,000 off the lot. The Sourcewell gives us a $24,000 discount. I looked up a used unit just like this to see what it would cost, and if it's still under warranty, it's $80,000 for a used one. So this would be a good dollar amount for us to buy. It's a machine, like it says, there's both a 12 and a 24-inch wide bucket on it for it, and got the thumb, and that's pretty important too. So I think it's a good buy. I think it's something we can really use, and the price is right for it, and we have funding for that from ARPA.
This will be paid for out of some leftover ARPA funds,
Okay.
which have to be spent for sometime in 2026.
Mhm. Just out of curiosity, how good is the heating and air conditioning in that cab?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, okay. Okay, motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the request to purchase the Kubota mini excavator for $78,531.67, and it would be paid for through the remainder of the ARPA funding.
Second.
I'll second that.
Questions? Yeah, Rich?
Who will be carrying out the maintenance on this machine when it needs it?
The heavy-duty maintenance, it would have Kubota do it. Either we take it back or do it on-site, have a field tech out there.
So they will come out and fix it if you have a problem on site.
Right, like warranty stuff, yeah.
It has a one-year
The
warranty.
lighter maintenance, we just do it ourselves.
Rich, and other things, if it's something other they can't do themselves out there, we'll probably take advantage of the road and bridge mechanics if we can too.
Well, I wasn't gonna go there, but I needed to ask the question. I figured that's where it's going to
Road
wind
and
up.
Road and Bridge has two identical
Yeah.
machines to this.
Those
and,
guys are good.
We've had great luck with them, no issues.
That's what you consider your big excavator?
No, these are our small ones, and we
Okay.
use them both every day,
Okay,
every day.
Thank you.
all right.
Is there a shed out there that these are kept under?
No. We do not have our equipment shed as of yet. We're working on a deal in the future for one that's already built out there, but it's currently owned by Doe Run, but we're kind of working on.
Is
Well,
that,
right now, Rich, there at the landfill, if we have to, we got inside, they'll let us park
The
in there.
landfill does allow us 2 buildings that we do park equipment in whenever they're not in use.
now, the building we're looking at in the future, is that an enclosed locking building?
Yes.
It could be.
Could be, okay.
But that's, I mean, that's down the road.
Yeah, okay.
I was hesitant to even bring it up. It's just,
Okay.
Not in today's business.
All right. Okay, do I have a motion? Yes, I think I do. Any other questions? All in favor of allowing the purchase of this machine, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Our auditors are asking for a update on their account outside audit letter, and it's basically the same company, it's just changed names and reoriented themselves. Now, I have a question, is that 34.8, is that the same we've been paying?
That was what was solicited in their proposal that was approved in '23.
Okay,
So that'll be our cost for '23's audit, the '24 audit that's getting ready to start that this letter is for, and next year.
okay,
And that also includes the single audit portion.
okay, so
is-
what?
The single audit,
Okay.
the audit of the federal grants.
Okay. Now, is this 1, 2, 3 year?
Nothing has changed. The contract that you approved last year, nothing has changed except the
Except the name.
name of the company.
And is this a 1 or 2 year contract or what?
You approved
This
it.
is just for the audit of 2024.
Okay, 1 year.
But they
okay.
will also be doing our 25 based on the proposal that we've got in 23.
Okay. Motion.
Okay, just for the 1 year. I make a motion that we enter for the independent audit of 2024, name change Mueller
Uberk.
Oberfell and Jones LLC, which is formerly known as the Daniel Jones Associate Group, for $34,800 per year.
Second?
Second.
Questions? And when will this start?
As soon as the letter's signed.
As soon as you sign it,
I already have, thank you.
Just they based out of.
Arnold.
They were the only firm that responded to our request.
Shouldn't you change auditing firms on occasion?
Well, the firm isn't necessarily the issue, it's the staff within the firm, which
Okay.
I can tell you the staff rotates there frequently on who
Okay.
is over the oversight, but the auditing partner is the main reviewer of the whole audit.
So what an auditor thinks is legal this year, another one might have a different opinion. And so sometimes you need those,
So they all go off of the AICPA and GAAP standards. And then, of course, with us being governmental, it is a completely different set of standards on top of those. So
Okay.
they're required to have continuing education every year to keep updated on those regulations. So
Okay.
there's not a lot of interpretation. Most interpretation can be based off of where your internal controls are at. And if there's any shortfalls, that's where you run into where there could be findings.
okay? Okay, and so you get different people walking in every year to do your audit. I think that's important. Okay, thank you. Did I get a final vote on it? Yeah.
Not a final.
No. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Next regular meeting, right here next week. And this time, because there's no holidays listed, you'll be scheduled to get your agenda in by Monday. Okay, other business, correspondence. Public comments. Departmental reports. I think the sheriff wants to talk to us.
Just give you a couple of updates on some numbers and how we're doing, how the county's doing. So from January 14th to the 20th, which was this last week, we answered 313 calls for service. That takes our yearly total to 936, so we kind of had a little bit of a busy year, I think. We're currently holding an inmate population of about 113. It always fluctuates a couple here and there. 97 male and 16 female. Some of the projects we're working on, I've met with Brian, and we're going to start doing some jail updates and rehab. We already have some windows that have been purchased, and we're looking at redoing the flooring. I think we've
Good.
So we're working on that. He's still got some stuff at the morgue to finish up, so I'm going to meet with him again this coming week or next week, and also a gentleman that does the polishing of the floor, see where we look at on that.
Concrete floors?
Yes.
Okay.
We recently we conducted interviews for our jail navigator position. We had 13 applications and we conducted 10 interviews. And Friday we made a selection with a tentative offer to hire that person pending a favorable background. So the detectives are doing their background investigation. We also conducted 8 interviews for a detention officer. So we've got a lot of people putting in applications wanting to come work for us, which is great. We made a selection on Thursday. Same thing, tentative offer to come work for us. however pending favorable background. We still have two positions open for a Terre de Lac Division Deputy and a road officer position. And we're gonna keep those open, accepting applications till the end of the month. And that's kind of it for that report.
Okay.
What was your total population? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
Total population?
113.
113.
I got a
Kinda
question.
weird, I'm just keeping
How
an eye.
many do you have employed out there right now? I think we're allowed 94, right? Amber?
I think it's 94, so.
I thought it was 93 and Amber found us a 94. And I was
we're-
wondering where you're at with that.
Deputies were at full staff other than one road position.
Do you have any idea how many?
You've got 5 at Terre de Lac, you have deputies that are
Yeah.
also in charge. Are
I
you talking
mean-
road deputies?
Yeah,
I think 34.
34. And then, I mean, what I was looking at is the total, because I mentioned to you, I know what would really help the jail out there, we
And
discussed.
we're looking into that.
Okay.
So I've
right.
talked with Brian on that as well.
Okay.
We did recently, all road deputies now, we did purchase some patrol rifles. So every road deputy does have an issued patrol rifle, or they will be issued weather permitting.
A rifle, not a shotgun.
No, patrol rifle, which is a AR-15 configuration.
Okay.
So we purchased that. Every officer will be outfitted with one.
Okay.
Well, I did want to make a comment, you had any days off yet?
No.
Haven't heard anything about what?
Any days off yet, he hadn't had a day off.
Well, yesterday.
Okay.
Anything else?
Thank you.
No,
I did want to
thanks,
say
sir.
those 94, it does include all the civilian positions out there too.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to give the
Correct.
impression those were all
Well.
commissioned officers.
I mean, the suggestion was I let him leave up to that is a second maintenance guy. Cause that jail, to keep it up, one guy cannot do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's constant out there. When they get the floors done, I mean, at one time, we were close on that jail, and I think they tended, as time went on, we wanted to do the floors, which now Jeff Sonneter at it. But our last really effort out there, if we'd have had the floors done, the jail was gonna be really up to shape.
Yeah.
But we kinda let that go. We were looking.
Probably our highest traffic building that we
Yes,
have.
yes.
And I did want to thank Corey Schrum. She came out with the jail navigator and helped with our interviews on that as well. So
Okay.
appreciate her coming out in our.
Tell us what the navigator does.
Oh, boy. It's, make sure I get this correct. It's a residential substance abuse treatment coordinator. And when a person comes into the jail, they will do an evaluation, checking to see on substance abuse or mental help they need. They will get them in contact with the resources on the outside, so when they do leave the jail, they have the resources to maybe keep them from coming back and to get them back as a more productive citizen in society and help them. And sometimes it's just as simple as they couldn't get a job because they didn't have a birth certificate. And we take that for granted, but you know, some people are homeless, they don't have an address to mail stuff to. If we can help them get them into those resources that'll get them a driver's license, a GED, birth certificate, eyeglasses, and get them back in society where they don't have to be coming into the jail so often, and take care of them that way.
Thank you.
When that's hired, we're gonna also try to get them, talking about earlier, is to get an
Yes.
AA program at the jail, because like Jefferson County, Cape County, St. Genevieve, they all have these programs, because when somebody's an alcoholic, if they don't get some type of treatment, even if they're not drinking during jail, chances are the day they walk out, they start again, and then we get to visit them again because they come back.
Stay in that
So,
cycle.
AA will provide all the materials for people to come in and help with the meetings to get people so that they don't have a high recidivism rate.
Also, I was gonna, from what I understand at Sims meeting, it helps the judges, the judicial system, because they have to be evaluated. And sometimes they have to release them to be evaluated. Where with the navigator, they can evaluate them inside,
Everything
where
will
they're
be
not
in-house.
released back, where they can actually do their evaluation inside there. And the judges said that would help them, you know, it really speeds up the process and helps them.
Okay. Okay, anybody got any questions for the sheriff? Yeah, when are my warrants due? I mean, okay. Other than
Thanks, Deb.
that, okay, any other departmental reports?
We have a election on April 8th. I know that sounds like a long time away, but voting starts on the 25th of February. We always do the 6 weeks
This is
prior.
municipal elections.
Municipal elections, and we're going to have quite a few of them. We have a contested mayor race, for example, in Farmington. We have school board races in North County. We have municipal elections in Deloge for mayor, right? And normally we only have about 7% turnout, but we're hoping to get it to 10 to 15% turnout with the Farmington School is asking for, my understanding, I haven't seen them yet, a extension of a bond issue plus a new bond issue to raise, you always talk about the tax rates, and we get 2 cents. They're asking, I think, for like 90 cents addition to build several things, Performing Arts Center, and so that will be, I think it will generate some additional people. Second thing is fire districts. Yeah, right. We got the Territorial Act trying to create a fire district. We've got Big River trying to create a fire district because we worked with them on creating their districts, the people in them, the voters, that type of thing. So you're going to have quite a bit. So I think we will have a higher than normal turnout. Second thing, like I know we had some weather this past, 10 days ago or whatever, and there was some criticism on calls. I mean, you're going to make calls. This is nothing new. Sometimes they're going to be right, sometimes they're going to be wrong. But I thought I'd bring up a story with your old man. One time they were predicting 6 to 8 inches. And at 6 o'clock in the morning it started snowing. So Les calls it off. Calls to the courthouse, closes the courthouse. They only get 1 inch, and they had a trial set for that day. And the judges went ape. And I remember because the Daily Journal asked Les what his policy would be on closing the courthouse in the future, and without hesitation he said snow would have to be axle high to a Ferris wheel before I close it. I thought that was a great comment. So sometimes you close it and you lose, sometimes you don't close it and you lose. So
They wanted to throw him in jail.
Huh?
The circuit judges.
They wanted to put him in jail for closing it, and that was
Friday.
I thought that was a great line, one of the best political lines I've ever heard.
Friday morning, we met talked at 5 o'clock a.m. The decision was the roads were drivable, so I decided to not call it off. And then at noon it got worse and we called it off. If the commission calls it off, then everybody's paid full time, as long as the commission does it. If the department heads send their people home, then we don't pay that. They use their paid time off for that. So that was what happened, and I got hammered with that. So we decided, and it's really one guy that was very belligerent. I kind of hoping he'll come to call me back about this new, because I'm ready for it. But anyway, maybe he's afraid to contact me now. But anyway, that's why we've got a new policy now. We're not going to call it off. The employee will make the decision, and then you use their paid time off for that time, should they decide not to come in that day for safety reasons. So we're just not going to call it off anymore because people hammer in, they don't know the details. Okay. Any other departmental reports?
What was the date that voting will start?
It will start in February, I think, 25th for the April 8th with the ballot. And then no excuse will start 2 weeks prior to the April 8th. It's like March 25th or something like that. But there's a lot of things on the ballot, which will cause a little bit higher cost. I had that discussion with one of the school boards because you're based upon how many potential voters are in your district, and one of the big costs, besides programming the computers and all that type of stuff, but one of the big costs is the printing of the ballot. And so if you don't have anybody running and you don't have to have your portion printed, you have a less cost. If you have details of bond issues, you're going to have a higher cost. That's just the way it's
Which is not paid for from the county.
No, it's divided. We try to divide it, and we try to overestimate by 2 to 4%, because it's a lot easier for us to issue checks if it's a little bit more than what they had to pay, because we have to come up with it. If you remember last year, we had three under $100. One was $3 down in Fredericktown on the thing, because the cost of the printing, the cost of the printing of the ad went from 5,000 something to 15, and then they lowered it down to 10, and that was quite a bit more than our estimates. So instead of being a little bit over, the reason we do that is because a lot of the smaller municipalities, it may be 2 months before you can get a vote to authorize a payment of $13.80, and then we can't close the election out until all these things come back in. So we'd rather charge them last year, because we can get their checks out to them right after the election and say, okay, you were charged $122 more, here it is, and they don't have to have a vote of their board. And
I think we sent a check out for 27 cents lately.
we
Oh, that was
declined to
for-
send that out.
Yeah, okay.
I'm still waiting to be arrested, but.
Okay, now, we have to have a ballot available for every possible voter.
Yes.
So if you get a 10% turnout, you're destroying 90%.
Yeah, on a local election, you don't have to have 100%. But I thought you were referring to when we test the ballot, we have to test every possibility. So the deck, they call that the deck, the test deck will be huge on this.
Okay.
Because when they put through those computers to test those machines to make sure that they have to have every possible combination that you voted for Dave Cater for the council of Deloge, but you voted for the Deloge bond issue, but against, and then you gotta have them voting against Dave Cater, and so you have to have every combination. So that will be huge, and it will be, the cost of the printing on this one won't be as bad as the general election, because you have to legally have one for every person that could possibly vote in those.
Okay, but on these elections where you anticipate 10%?
We go about 50%.
Okay, that was my
Just in
question.
case, we.
What if, yeah. Okay, any other departmental reports?
Commissioner, Kevin and I both received individual proposals for new balloting machines, and we will be sharing that with you in the future.
We kind of do something, we've been putting money back the last couple of years, but our machines are, as the lady said, the oldest
In the state.
in the state.
How many do we have?
Not enough.
We are under, but we have to have, on the machines we're talking about there, you have to have one for every precinct, which is 22, plus you have to have 2 for the,
Weber Road?
for Weber Road of the absentees,
Yeah.
and then you have to have a backup machine, so you have to have.
25.
Plus, the one's really expensive, but I hate to say this, is the ADA compliant machines, in case somebody that's blind. You have to have one of those working at every precinct, even though we only have usually 1 to 2 people using them in the county. That's almost $100,000 cost to equip every precinct. That's one of the things with having 20-something precincts, you have to have one in every precinct to, so we're gonna have an overall evaluation. Is this what we're going to do, is to order 20-somethings and have to have a ADA compliant machine for Noblick? I know you partial Noblick, but to Noblick plus.
They
when
kicked me out, I
haven't
live
had-
in town now.
Okay, when they haven't had anybody use that in a decade, we would still have, the citizens of Farmington would have, because nobody reimburses us for those, that equipment.
Yeah, Noblick's petition finally went through, so I moved to Farmington.
They got rid of it.
Yeah, got rid of it. Okay, any other departmental reports? They were mad because I kept saying
Motion to
Knob.
adjourn. Second.
Canal.
Knob. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you all.